All right, Uhuru. Thanks for having me up here again. Can you go ahead and cue the PowerPoint? So I'm Matsemela Odom, also the chair of Black Community Control of Police. Chairman Amaj talked about the Revolutionary National Democratic Program. The Revolutionary National Democratic Program is the guiding platform for the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, of which also Black Community Control of the Police is a key point of our program. One thing that I want to point out about Black Community Control of the Police as a demand is that demands should guide your political practice, right? Slogans should guide your political practice. And that is what we have to understand as we craft politics. Like, there's a lot of catchy stuff out there when we talk about police abuse. Okay, we can slow down. We don't have to keep switching. There's a lot of, I'll let you all know. There's a lot of catchy stuff out there when we talk about police abuse, like all cops are bastards. Like, I like that one, you know. Defund the police, that's more of a tactic, you know, which I can get behind as a tactic. It was here in St. Petersburg, Florida, that we saw the first campaign to really do just that. But it was attached to the revolutionary demand of reparations, right? So I want us to know that, you know, your slogan should guide people. It shouldn't be a mystery. So what does this mean? What does abolish this mean? And things like that. Because I tell you this, they abolished slavery and threw us on the convict lease system. The state of Alabama did that. The banks in Alabama did that. And there's a bank called Regions Bank right now that is the inheritor of banks that actually did that, right? So we're not talking about something far away. So I just want to say that I want to salute Chairman Omar Shatella. I want to salute the Black is Back Coalition Steering Committee. We're going to change slides. And I want to make an important announcement. Important announcement is that it's because of the uprising, the spontaneous uprising of African people, of freedom-loving people around the world, May 25th, 2020, that what is going on, and I think Black Community Control of the Police and all of its elements need to be there, is that the United Nations, a struggle in the United Nations was made to hold the United States accountable for its treatment of African people. Of course, the United States did a lot of pushback against getting things done, but what was created was this United Nations International Independent Expert Mechanism to advance racial justice and equality in the context of law enforcement. They call it the IMLR. Well, they're making a U.S. state visit, hearing from the African communities, and they'll be in 6 different cities on these different dates. It's for you all to go out there and participate. Make sure your voice heard. Take the demand of Black Community Control of the Police to these public hearings around police, prison, and other forms of colonial containment here within the United States. So we're going to change slides. So just basically underscoring this point that Black Community Control of the Police is an anti-colonial demand. So we have to understand that it's an anti-colonial demand, which the end goal is power and control placed in the hands of the African community. So let's go on and switch sides. You know, many people are concerned with anti-racist policing, right? Chairman talked about this earlier today in which he was talking about really the crisis that's taking place in the superstructure, the crisis of confidence, the crisis of identity and stuff like that. And some of that stuff is being fractured. But racism is in the superstructure of society. It gives ideological support for the oppression of African people. But, you know, I seen a cop get out and do the stanky leg and all sorts of cool dances. and stuff like that. And that same cop was involved in some violence against African people, right? I mean, the question there isn't whether the guy's a bigot. The question is the fact that guy got the power over the lives of African people. So the struggle is against colonialism. The struggle is not against, changing the minds of these cops and stuff like that. It's placing power into the hands of the African community, because just here in Florida, of course, not too far away from here, I think it was back about Fruitland Park. Was that near Orlando? This place called Fruitland Park. Some cops were found out to be part of the Klan, and we see this over and over again, right? But you can get all of the racist cops out of the police force, but the question is still the fact that we have occupying armies in the African community that have to be rid of. So we could change slides. So all of this for me underscores the problem with, like, as we opened up talking about this idea of defunding the police, de-unionization of the police, and things like that. There was an issue in Los Angeles, I remember, after George Floyd, in which they had taken something like $150 million out of the budget. And they had taken something like $150 million out of the budget. Everybody thought that was a big time deal. The annual budget for LAPD is $1.8 billion. And that was only $150 million they were taking out of the increase of the budget. And even then, what's done with the $150 million? Is it was placed, it was not given back to the people, right? The Black Community Control Police would demand these money be returned to the African community. That was the demand here in St. Petersburg, Florida, with the campaign led by Director Akile Anai. We can change slides. Because I'll say this, right? I remember when the Minneapolis City Council had made news by suggesting it was going to disband the police there. Everyone said, oh, they're going to defund the police. They're going to abolish the police. And so I immediately went online. I said, okay, do they have I was like, they probably got a sheriff's department or something like that. And that was exactly the thing, right? They were going to just render it to the sheriff's department. And even when we're not dealing with the sheriff's department, we have to know that in the United States right now, they got 750,000 public cops and 750,000 private officers, many of them with guns, right? I lived in a housing project where we was policed by the Long Beach PD, the LA sheriffs, private cops, probation officers could come in there. So, you know what I mean? We talking about a removal of the power of the state to govern and control African lives. That is what we need to be talking about. Because without that, what we're just talking about is something through which the state can perfect itself, can sort of get rid of overspending so it can more efficiently control your lives. This is what we see in places like Los Angeles, Stockton. And Stockton specifically, the defund the police people even hold up this police chief of Stockton as an example of how defund the police could happen. I got relatives in Stockton. Africans' lives have not gotten any better in the last 10 years in Stockton. Change slides. So, but like I said, it was once again here in St. Petersburg, Florida, where we see that Black community control of the police, the anti-colonial demand, alongside reparations and dual and contending power, was placed on the ballot. And that is the example that needs to be taken forward. Change slides. So we have a lot of different victories of our campaign, which you speak of, so we can talk about those, but just very briefly, change slides. In San Diego, we saw the victory in 2021 of the Black Community Control of the Police campaign and underscoring the right of African people to self-defense. Change slides. We see the success in it and getting the word out there, getting a Black community control of police as many ways as possible in front of the people. We need to make it a household word. Change slides. Change slides. So get organized. Email us at info@blackisbackcoalition.org. Change slides. We have the ability to get you all, change slides again. We have the ability to get you all posters, change slides, petitions, anything you can to take change slides, know your rights cards, know your rights trainings. All of these things are absolutely important for you to do the work of Black community control and police. Next time an African is killed by a cop in your community, we know what's going to happen. The demand needs to be Black community control of the police. So uhuru, and thank you for the time.